When I was 21 years old, I had what some might call an out-of-body experience, moment with the divine, perhaps just the powers of mind and I working in concert. I was at the St. Louis Art Museum, just meandering through the exhibits, when I turned a corner and fell into a universe of color. I now know that the painting was Spectrum 2 by Ellsworth Kelly, but at the time, all I knew was that my world had just been turned upside down. I kept moving closer and closer, almost close enough to set the buzzer off. My breath came barely. I didn't want to disturb the magic. I don't know how long I stood there, just cradled in colors. I don't know who was around me or how many were there. I only know that in that moment, the entire universe was suspended in those colors. At dinner later, I quizzed my friends to see if anyone else had experienced this epiphany of color. Had they seen that installation, I wondered? Oh, the one where you saw an optical illusion of the lines moving? They responded. I was confused. I didn't remember anything like that. It was a bit of a who's on first moment, as we each tried to describe the different exhibits we saw, finally figuring out what you might have already guessed. It was the same exhibit. They had experienced it the way it was supposed to be presented. There's even a bench placed at just the right distance to catch the lines moving in and out. My friends, they thought it was neat, but ultimately it was just one more interesting moment in a museum full of remarkable art. But I had come from an unexpected direction, from a different angle. I didn't experience it as it was originally intended, and that, as the poet says, made all the difference. I'd like you to go with me back through time a little bit further, 24 years earlier than that moment I had in the museum, to a lonely Florida swamp when a banjo player strummed a song about his own feelings of believing in something that nobody else recognized. Although his song about the difficulties of being green is perhaps even better known. When Kermit the Frog sang about wanting to find a rainbow connection, he sparked something inside of people. The song about the power of belief, hope, and imagination. It's been recorded by everyone from Kenny Loggins to Gwen Stefani to Sleeping at Last, who we just heard. And in that song, if you'll remember back with me, Kermit sings about how we're told that rainbows are visions and only illusions. And some will choose to believe it, but I know they're wrong. Wait and see. Someday we'll find it, he sings. The rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. The first time I heard it, I was struck by the beauty and power of the words. I couldn't help but think of the hope that Unitarian Universalism offers, and how deeply I was also moved the first time I encountered the UU principles. Perhaps you were too. The promise of recognizing inherent worth and dignity, of treating each other with kindness and compassion, of helping each other grow and build a better world. There is truth and power in the covenants we make together. I truly and deeply believe that we too have good news to share with the world, that we too should light our lamps to call anyone who will to the harbor we offer. That's the story and one of the meanings behind our chalice flame, after all. Travel with me one more time, and we'll trace the path to our destination. So this is the story I was told, and whether it happened exactly this way or not, I know it's true. In the 1940s, a group of UUs who were helping people escape from Nazi Germany sought a symbol of their cause. From the pen of a refugee artist came the chalice that served as an image of hope for those who fled persecution, an image that gradually spread through Unitarian and then UU churches, a symbol of light for our free and open faith. I loved that story the first time I heard it, and I love it still. Every time I see our chalice lit, that flickering flame reminds me of our connections to each other, to our fellow beings, our connection to our planet and the universe. I felt that same sense when I first heard Rainbow Connection, that sense of love and hope, that reminder of the oneness of everything. And so it is, and so it is not. Tracing the path to our destination, I said earlier, and we will get there. But the path of the labyrinth, it doesn't end with the trip into the center. It continues in the journey outward. So let's turn then and trace the same path, perhaps finding new understanding. Because my friends back in that art museum, they weren't wrong. They had viewed the installation exactly how it was supposed to be viewed, exactly the way I would have viewed it if I'd seen the bench first. But by some quirk of the universe, I hadn't followed the signs. I'd strayed off the path all unaware. What if, I wonder, Unitarian Universalism were to make that kind of turn? We know there is beauty in this tradition. The promise of the flame has held true for so many people. And we know that this tradition, despite its beauty, despite its promise, has also held pain for many people of historically marginalized identities. People like me, people like some of you. Our installation, it's lovely when viewed from the bench that was carefully placed. Our flame is a beautiful flickering hope. But like Spectrum 2, there's another level to our chalice flame, to our experience with faith. We have to turn that corner and fall in. To realize the full promise of our chalice flame, we need refraction instead of reflection. When light is viewed from another angle, when it's refracted, it doesn't look the same. Some could say that this change involves breaking, and in a way they're right, because refraction is indeed light being split into its component colors. But I say, and I think Kermit the Frog agrees with me, that a rainbow is not light breaking, it's light living up to its full potential. The Christian scriptures say that now we see through a glass darkly, but when love has come, when hope has come, we will be face to face. The truth of our chalice flame, it exists in the seen and the unseen. When our chalice light is refracted, when we change the angle, our angle, we recognize the light as it's truly meant to be experienced in beloved community. Maybe a rainbow is a vision, but it's one that is as real as you and me. There's a reason children reach for prisms that multiple faith traditions associate rainbows with hope, and that Kermit's song resonates so much with us. Our bodies know something our minds haven't always caught up to. The beloved community doesn't depend on our sameness, but on our difference. It gives me so much hope that our faith's most traditional, perhaps, gathering, our annual meeting, General Assembly. One of the highlights of General Assembly now is a drag show. It doesn't give me hope because it's representation, although representation is certainly important, crucial. It gives me hope because celebrating all of the glorious, vibrant colors our lives exist in, it's exactly what we need as a faith, what we need as people. We've had lots of time as a tradition to celebrate Bach, and let's keep doing that, along with moving our hearts and our bodies too, to hip hop, to salsa, to reggae, to the rich and varied music of the global majority, pulling out glitter and rainbows, not just for pride, but for any day we damn well please. Let's usher in the beloved community with joy out loud, dancing in the streets. When Rainbow Connection was inducted into the Library of Congress, the songwriter, Paul Williams, one of the songwriters, said the song teaches us that sometimes the questions are more beautiful than the answers. After all the time Kermit and we have spent trying to find our own rainbow connections, the answer was there all along. The questions we need to find are in the lovers, the dreamers, in you and in me. And true connection across all our interdependent web is the most beautiful and sacred rainbow connection of all. May we all find it and dance in its light. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so.